It was a cold afternoon when Maria stepped into Hargrove's Market. She was 32 years old, a single mother of two, with tired brown eyes and hands rough from cleaning offices at night. Her dark hair was tied back in a loose bun, and she wore a faded gray sweater that had once belonged to her late husband. In her purse were 3 crumpled dollar bills and a small photo of her children: Daniel, age 7, who loved drawing superheroes, and Sophia, age 5, who still slept with a stuffed rabbit missing one ear. Maria hadn't eaten that morning. She had told her children she wasn't hungry, smiling while her stomach twisted in pain. The electricity bill was overdue, rent was late, and the pantry at home held nothing but salt and a half-empty bag of rice. She didn't want charity. She didn't want sympathy. She just needed something, anything, to get her through the next 2 days until her paycheck arrived. She walked carefully down the aisles, picking up the cheapest loaf of bread she could find and a small jar of peanut butter. She calculated the total in her head over and over. Still too much. Her hands trembled as she approached the counter. Behind the register stood Mr. Collins, the store manager. He was in his late 40s, tall, sharp-featured, with slicked-back hair and a permanent look of irritation. He had built a reputation for being strict, some said cruel. He didn't tolerate mistakes. He didn't tolerate weakness. Maria cleared her throat. "Sir, I'm short $2. I get paid tomorrow. I can leave my ID. I promise I'll come back." The line behind her grew quiet. Mr. Collins stared at her as if she had insulted him personally. "This isn't a charity," he said loudly. "If you can't pay, you don't buy." "I understand," she whispered, "but my children haven't eaten since yesterday afternoon." He slammed his hand on the counter. "That's not my problem." The room felt smaller. Maria's face burned with humiliation. She reached for the bread to put it back, but her vision blurred with tears. And then something unexpected happened. A deep rumbling sound filled the parking lot outside. Motorcycles. The glass doors vibrated slightly as a group of bikers pulled in, engines growling in unison. Leather jackets, heavy boots, weathered faces. They weren't subtle. The store fell silent. Mr. Collins rolled his eyes. "Great. Just what we need." 5 bikers walked in. At their center was a broad-shouldered man in his early 50s, gray beard trimmed neatly, eyes surprisingly calm. His name was Ray. Locals knew him as the leader of a riding group called the Iron Hearts. People made assumptions about them. Most of those assumptions were wrong. Ray glanced around, instantly sensing the tension. He saw Maria wiping her eyes. He saw the bread and peanut butter on the counter. He saw the manager's raised posture. "What's going on?" Ray asked, voice steady but firm. "Nothing that concerns you," Mr. Collins snapped. Maria quickly shook her head. "It's okay, I'll leave." But Ray didn't move. He stepped closer to the counter. "Ma'am, is there a problem?" She hesitated. Pride battled desperation. Finally, she whispered, "I just needed $2 more." One of the younger bikers, a tall man with tattooed arms and soft eyes, muttered under his breath, "You've got to be kidding me." Mr. Collins crossed his arms. "Store policy. No money, no food." Ray slowly reached into his vest pocket and pulled out his wallet. He placed a $20 bill on the counter. "Keep the change." Maria's eyes widened. "No, sir, I can't." "You can," Ray said gently. "And you will." The other bikers began walking through the store, grabbing canned goods, milk, eggs, fresh fruit, cereal, piling them onto the counter. Customers stared in shock as the total climbed higher and higher. Mr. Collins looked irritated. "You don't need to make a scene." Ray leaned in slightly. "You already did." But the story didn't end there. As the bikers carried the groceries to Maria's old car, Ray asked her where she lived. At first, she hesitated, unsure. But something about his eyes felt safe. She gave him the address. That evening, the Iron Hearts showed up at her small apartment complex, not with noise and engines roaring, but quietly. They fixed the broken railing on her stairs. They replaced the flickering porch light. One of them, who happened to be an electrician by trade, spoke to the landlord about the overdue bill and arranged a short extension. Another biker's wife worked at a local school and helped Maria apply for a food assistance program she didn't even know she qualified for. What most people didn't know about the Ironhearts was that they were veterans, mechanics, small business owners, men who had seen hard times themselves. Their club wasn't built on fear, it was built on loyalty. Word of the grocery store incident spread quickly through town. Customers began leaving reviews about the manager's behavior. Regular shoppers stopped coming. Within a